Tuesday, September the 12th, 2017, to you. Finally, Hurricane Irma dissipated in our atmosphere, yet in our minds it will remain for years, if not for the rest of our lives. That stormy lady hit the Caribbean and the United States for almost 2 weeks. Its winds reached an intensity of 185 miles per hour. 55 people died due to that catastrophic event. That being said, it could have been even worse if Irma, as it was projected a week ago, had made landfall in Miami. The damage would have been momentous. That a hurricane had deviated towards Florida's west coast caused a great relief among insurers. Yesterday, the S&P 500 index popped 1.1% to close at 2,488.11 points, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average jumped 259.58 points to close at 22,057.37. There are three things I want to remark about Irma. First and foremost, I believe that global media went too over the top in its press coverage. We all agree that media must keep us informed about world affairs. Also, it is widely accepted that we should help our neighbor whenever a disaster like Irma takes place. What I cannot accept, though, is that media should aim at making us experience the hurricane. At times, Irma became an hyperreal event. It was as if all we had to do was to switch the remote control on. That may sound morbid, and it is. I am sure that communication faculties will study the media coverage of Irma in the future. Secondly, Irma should have drawn political scientist interest. Territories affected by Irma corresponded to a wide variety of political systems. There were independent countries like the United States and Cuba. Also, there were colonies like Turks and Caicos and the British Virgin Islands. In between, there were small autonomous states like St. Martin, free associated states like Puerto Rico, Commonwealth members such as Antigua and Barbuda, and overseas departments like Guadeloupe. This political heterogeneity could hinder the reconstruction process. It is at odds with logic that France and the Netherlands are designing each one's policies for the small island of St. Martin without any kind of coordination. Irma ought to encourage the Caribbean to pursue for a better integration. The European Union, that political alliance set up by their actual and former homelands, ought to inspire Caribbean states. Thirdly, Hurricane Irma raised the question whether or not this year's deadly hurricanes were caused by climate change. The answer is still to be reached, but that very question may affect President Trump, given his denial of that phenomenon. By the way, in May, Mr. Trump proposed to cut the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's NOAA budget by 17%. If things were not complicated enough, both Florida and Texas, the most affected states by Irma and Harvey respectively, voted for Mr. Trump last year. Perhaps climate is changing in Florida, GOP leaders may be thinking now. Perhaps climate is changing in Texas, Louisiana, and Georgia. Is climate changing in Washington, D.C., perhaps? The world is still on.